The president continues to fire back at former FBI Director James Comey. In a tweet this morning, he called Slippery Comey the worst FBI director in history. The president said Comey was not fired because of the phony Russia investigation and reiterated there was no collusion between his campaign and the Kremlin, but there was collusion by the Democrats. Comey has appeared on multiple talk shows recently to push his controversial new book. The RNC, meantime, is blasting those appearances and criticisms, saying Comey's actions are unbefitting of an FBI director, and the media circuit is his effort to rehab his poor and broken image. One America's Emerald Robinson caught up with spokeswoman Kayleigh McEnany and has more from Washington.
Well, Jim Comey has broken a record and made history by being the first FBI director ever to write a tell-all book, then go out on the comedy circuit. He was out on the comedy circuit this week. That he did that just after his interview with George Stephanopoulos. And you know what? It's just petty, to be the sitting FBI director and you're in a meeting with the commander-in-chief. You're in charge of keeping this country safe from all of the various criminal networks afoot. And what are you doing? You're thinking about the length of his tie, the president's tanning habits, and then you're trying to hide in a curtain. It's a pretty bizarre admission for a former FBI director, and I think this entire act and this entire stunt is unbefitting of someone who was an FBI director.
So let's talk about the contents of the book a little bit. Is there any kind of smoking gun that suggests any type of illegality on the part of the president?
No, and in fact, Jim Comey says in his book that none of his conversations with the president rose to the level of illegality. So if anything, this week is a great week for the president because this is the person who would be the basis of an obstruction charge. It was those conversations with the president that Mueller would be looking at, and he says those were not illegal interactions. And also, in addition to that, we know there's been no evidence of collusion, and this is the person, Jim Comey, who oversaw the Russia investigation from its inception in July of 2016 until May of last year. No revelations there either. So really, this is just a lot of smoke, a lot of publicity, a lot of just an effort for the FBI director to rehabilitate his very, very poor and broken image.
But it seems to me that Comey has made a lot of admissions on his own behavior in not only the book, but in his media tour talking about the leaking. What could this mean for Comey going forward?
Well, in an ordinary situation, I would say, why would you speak on the record so openly, so publicly in all of these different interviews? Granted, it is very liberal host in most cases outside of Bret Baier, who I think will ask some tough questions. But I don't know that this is an ordinary scenario. Robert Mueller doesn't seem too keen on looking into anyone other than Republicans like President Trump and Mike Flynn, Paul Manafort, Michael Cohen. He doesn't seem to be too interested in going after liberal Democrats like Jim Comey. So perhaps he thinks he can speak without repercussion because he has a close relationship with Robert Mueller and many in the Justice Department, including Rod Rosenstein. But in an ordinary scenario, you should be concerned at many of your misdeeds. The FISA warrant application, which he oversaw as FBI director, the misleading under oath to Congress, and the leaking.
We can use your help. Call your cable provider and kindly demand that One America News is added to your lineup. Call today.